president is calling for a boycott of a big American company. Goodyear makes its home in Akron, Ohio.
And so I would be very much in favor if people don't want to buy there.
A company with a 122-year history in Akron, Ohio, thousands of American workers, and competitors all over the world, and a sitting president who's spinning out of control would risk American jobs to try to save his own.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
I think it's under control. I'll tell you what.
How? 1,000 Americans are dying a day.
They are dying. That's true. And it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Right now, we're at a crossroads. We've seen what can happen when we elect a leader determined to divide us. As president, Joe Biden will forge a new path by growing an economy that works for working families, getting small businesses back on their feet, and expanding access to affordable health care. Joe Biden will lead us on the path forward, paved with opportunity for us all.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
All right.
Hi. Sorry to keep you.
That's all right. You ready to go to work?
Oh my God. I'm so ready to go to work.
I was raised to take action. My mother knew that she was raising two black daughters who would be treated differently because of how they looked. Growing up, whenever I got upset about something, my mother would look me in the eye and ask, "So what are you gonna do about it?" That's why, when I saw a broken justice system, I became a lawyer to try and fix it. It's why during the foreclosure crisis, I took on the big banks as California's Attorney General. It's why, as United States Senator, I have fought to represent people like my mother, people who politicians often overlook or don't take seriously. Right now, America needs action. In the middle of a pandemic, the president is trying to rip away health care. While small businesses close, he's given breaks to his wealthy donors. And when the people cried out for support, he tear-gassed them. America is in crisis, and I know Joe Biden will lead us out of it. He's a man of faith, decency, and character. He raised his family that way. I saw it firsthand with my good friend Bo. As Joe says, we're in a battle for the soul of this nation. But together, it's a battle we can win. We just have to take action.
First of all, is the answer yes?
The answer is absolutely yes, Joe, and I am ready to work. I am ready to do this with you, for you. I'm just deeply honored, and I'm very excited.
The story of Black America is the story of America. It's the story of a people who have pushed this country to live up to its stated ideals. But Black people have always believed in the promise of a better America. So, at this moment we're in now, we must choose to fight for that better America. And just like our ancestors who stood up to the violent racists of a generation ago, we will stand up to this president and say, no more. Because America is better than him. So we choose to be bigger. We choose to be bolder. We choose to bring back justice, respect, and dignity to this country. We choose Joe Biden to lead us all towards that American promise together.
Nobody knew there'd be a pandemic or an epidemic of this proportion.
Take a look at America today. Over 150,000 Americans are dead from COVID-19. We have a health crisis worsened by Trump's failure to act, an economic crisis deepened by Trump's failure to get the virus under control. A racial justice crisis fanned by Trump's words of hate. A climate crisis exacerbated by Trump's denial of science. And America needs a plan to solve all of them. Over the last century, America has defined itself by rising to meet existential challenges.
This great nation will endure as it has endured.
This country of the United States was not built by those who waited and rested.
America is a place where all things are possible.
In order to meet the challenges of today, we can't just build back the way things were before. We have to build back better. We'll make the biggest investment in manufacturing and innovation since World War II, bringing back critical supply chains and ensuring the future is made in America by American workers. Today, federal investment in research and development is at an all-time low. That's why I'm proposing historic research and development investment to sharpen America's competitive edge in new industries. Experts say that this $300 billion investment could help create 3 million good-paying jobs in communities all across America. There's no more consequential challenge we have to meet in the next decade than the onrushing climate crisis. We'll meet this challenge by creating millions of jobs in a clean energy economy. Jobs that will ensure American automobile industry leads the world in manufacturing electric vehicles. With 500,000 charging stations all across the country. We'll ensure that America has the cleanest, safest, and fastest rail system in the world. We're going to make investments, so by the end of my first term, we are going to be on an irreversible course to achieve net zero emissions, economy-wide, no later than 2050. In order to build back better, we have to prioritize our caregiving workforce and free up hardworking Americans. My plan will put 3 million Americans to work. We'll work with states to offer every 3- and 4-year-old child in America access to free, high-quality preschool. Right now, low and middle-income families spend as much as 35% of their income on childcare. We'll make it so they won't ever have to spend more than 7% of their income. And we'll give more older Americans and people with disabilities the choice to get care in their home or in the community-based setting, starting with the 800,000 individuals currently on a waiting list to be able to do just that. In order to build back better, we have to ensure that all Americans have opportunities to generate wealth, especially communities of color that have been historically left out of the benefits of an economic recovery. That's why I'm going to take on our successful Obama-Biden Small Business Fund and scale it up to 20 times the size so that black and brown small business owners have access to $150 billion in venture capital and low-interest financing. Times are tough now in America, but we've been here before. We can do this. We can build back better. And I'm looking forward to getting started as soon as we can.
There's morning in America. Today, more than 175,000 Americans have died from a deadly virus Donald Trump ignored, praising China's response instead of heeding the warnings, then blaming them to cover his own failures. With the economy in shambles, more than 30 million Americans are out of work, the worst economy in decades. This afternoon, millions of Americans will apply for unemployment, and with their savings run out, many are giving up hope. Millions worry that a loved one won't survive COVID-19. There's mourning in America, and under the leadership of Donald Trump, our country is weaker and sicker and poorer. And now, Americans are asking, if we have another 4 years like this, will there even be an America?
The Lincoln Project is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Good to see you. How are you? All right. Isaac, good to see you. How are you, man?
Nice to meet you, Mr. Vice President.
God love you. I just wanted to say hi. But I can't preach like you guys can.
America is a place for everyone. Those who chose this country. Those who fought for it. Some Republicans, some Democrats, and most just somewhere in between. All looking for the same thing. Someone who understands their hopes, their dreams, their pain. To listen, to bring people together, to get up every day and work to make life better for families like yours. To look you in the eye, treat you with respect, and tell you the truth. To work just as hard for the people who voted for him as those who didn't. To be a president for all Americans.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message. Today, we're facing a serious threat. We have to meet it as one country. Numbers don't lie. Infection rates are now going up in more states than they're going down. We got to fight this together. Wear a mask. Keep your distance. Limit the size of crowds. It may be inconvenient. It may be uncomfortable, but it's the right thing to do as an American. We need a president who will level with the American people. President will tell us the unvarnished truth. President will take responsibility instead of always blaming others. President will listen to the experts, follow the science, allow them to speak. President will lead, be an example for the nation. We have to do all we can to keep our fellow Americans safe and healthy. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
There is only one America. No Democratic rivers, no Republican mountains, just this great land and all that's possible on it with a fresh start. Cures we can find, futures we can shape, work to reward, dignity to protect. There is so much we can do if we choose to take on problems and not each other, and choose a president who brings out our best. Joe Biden doesn't need everyone in this country to always agree. Just to agree we all love this country, and go from there.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message. I was sworn into the United States Senate in a hospital. My wife and daughter had been killed in an automobile crash. And lying in the bed were my two little boys. I couldn't have imagined what it would have been like if I didn't have insurance to cover them immediately and fully. 40 years later, one of those little boys, my son Bo, was diagnosed with terminal cancer, given months to live. I can't fathom what would have happened if the insurance companies had the power to say, last few months, you're on your own. The fact of the matter is, healthcare is personal to me. Obamacare is personal to me. When I see the President of the United States try to eliminate this healthcare in the middle of a public health crisis, that's personal to me too. We got to build on what we did because every American deserves affordable healthcare. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message. For our seniors, Social Security is a sacred obligation, a sacred promise made. The current president is threatening to break that promise. He's proposing to eliminate a tax that pays for almost half the Social Security without any way of making up for that lost revenue. I will not let that happen. If I'm your president, we're going to protect Social Security and Medicare. You have my word. I'm Joe Biden.
Global warming and that, a lot of it's a hoax.
It'll start getting cooler. You just watch.
And I see again the forest fires are starting. I said, you got to clean your floors.
I don't think science knows, basically.
I'm an environmentalist. A lot of people don't understand that. I have done more.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Voter suppression has taken many forms.
People have been denied the right to vote for, well, now 80 years.
First, they used the poll tax to keep black folks from voting. Then, it was the literacy test, racial terrorism, and violence.
I don't want everybody to vote.
New day, same old dirty tricks.
There are those in power who are doing their darndest to discourage people from voting.
Calls for investigations after claims of voter suppression.
President Trump sabotaging efforts to vote by mail.
If your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't try so hard to take it from you. Vote early. Vote like your life depends on it. I'm exercising my right to vote, and you should too. Not because I want you to, but because he doesn't. Vote, damn it! Vote!
Black women have always been on the front lines for social justice.
It's what we do.
We organize, make phone calls,
and yes,
we run for office.
All while being fly.
We stand up
to systemic racism,
fight for health care
and justice for all our citizens,
and use our power, our right,
our responsibility.
Black women,
let's vote.
Vote, vote.
For Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Your turn, fellas.
Okay, we got this. Fellas, brothers, we've heard our sisters,
our mothers, our wives and daughters cry out for equality.
Equality.
All across this country. And now it's our turn.
Our responsibility
to take our power back.
Black women vote more than black men.
And it's time we change that.
Don't give your power away.
Every single vote counts in this election.
Show up.
Show out.
And vote for Joe Biden
and Kamala Harris.
It's time to go home. To a place we once knew. A country of kindness and compassion, empathy and community, tolerance and generosity, integrity and hope. It's time to stand together in a place called America. The place we all call home. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris know the way. Let's go together. It's the only way we can go forward and build back better.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
All right, so the Trump ads are next, and I almost didn't want to do this video because Trump ads are they're just so bad. Like, they are so racist and just full of lies. Like, I almost didn't want to make this video because I didn't want to propel his lies. Just a bit of a warning. These ads are god-awful, and they should not be taken as fact. Nothing in those ads should be taken as fact. Trump, like, I can agree that both of the candidates here are trash. Biden's trash because he is not a progressive. He's somebody that is just not exciting whatsoever. But Trump's on a different level, okay? So I'm giving you a warning right now. These ads should not be taken seriously. Do research, because these ads, like, seriously, calling Biden part of the radical left, quote-unquote, when in actuality the Democratic Party is basically just the Republican Party, except they're slightly more liberal. Like, calling Joe Biden a progressive is laughable, okay? Laughable, okay? Like, if you think Joe Biden is a progressive, Joe Biden is nowhere near progressive. Okay, Bernie Sanders, that's a real progressive. Joe Biden, not a progressive whatsoever. Like, these ads are just laughable. The fact that Trump says that he keeps, oh, I'm keeping America safe. I love all Americans. Tell that to the congresswomen that you said to go back to the countries where they came from, or the Black Lives Matter protesters that you fire the National Guard on. Tell that to the many Mexicans and Muslims and just minorities in general, and women as well, that you've disrespected over the years. Tell that to the LGBTQ plus community, who you've rolled back the protections of and you are going to destroy the rights of. Tell that to the dead Americans who died because of the coronavirus, because you virtually did nothing to slow down the virus. You didn't take it seriously whatsoever. You did nothing to help those people. Just a thought.
We come together tonight to imagine a future.
determined by the shining light of our hopes and values and faith. A country where we are judged by our character with dignity and respect for all. The belief that all are created equal, that lives matter irrespective of race, creed, or color. Committed to excelling beyond our dreams, limited only by our imaginations, where rugged individualism and American exceptionalism inspire the best in each of us. And when we see injustice to one, we act to fix it for all. This is our story. We journey together. We stand in the breach to preserve a way of life that, while imperfect, has brought prosperity, honor, and dignity to generations past and will for generations to come. 4 years ago, we faced an historic crossroad. Career politicians promising change every election, but delivering emptiness. We chose a different path. A man who is not a politician, a man who cares, a man who loves America and all Americans, a man who works tirelessly for you, even tonight during this nomination. The results? Jobs were created, embracing the undeniable greatness of diversity. Prosperity, safe communities, protecting and serving, caring for one another. Still, politicians spun their deceptions and obstructed progress, fanning the flames of lawlessness. We all know that it is easy to criticize. It takes a true leader to solve problems. COVID-19, while others criticized without solutions, President Trump's swift action saved lives. And as leading Democrats want to keep businesses closed down, our president is leading the way for a full economic recovery. We are America. Despite unpredictable events, we as Americans work together to overcome challenges, write our own stories. The legends for our posterity. America. Land of promise. Land of opportunity. Land of heroes. Land of greatness. Join us over the next 4 nights as we write the next chapter of our journey and share our vision as the greatest country with the greatest citizens that attain the greatest achievements.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community. Do you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump and you ain't black? 4 kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
My Democratic colleagues don't like me saying this. I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro, good for the black. And other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind about that.
They're gonna put you all back in chains.
The first sort of mainstream African American who was articulate and bright and clean and nice-looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
It was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputation of 2 United States senators who built their reputation and career on the segregation of race in this country.
Are you going to apologize like Cory Booker has
apologize for what? For what?
Drugs, terrorists, violent criminals, and child traffickers trying to enter our country. But Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer care more about the radical left than keeping us safe. The consequences? Drug deaths, violent murder, gang violence. We must not allow it. Every country defends their borders. President Trump wants to defend ours. The Democrats must stop playing politics and support real border security now.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Liberals care more about illegal immigrants than they do about our own citizens. It's time to put America first.
Joe Biden has embraced the policies of the radical left. Trillions in new taxes, crushing middle-class families.
If you elect me, your taxes are going to be raised, not cut.
Amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants.
Citizenship for 11 million undocumented folks.
Reducing police funding.
Yes, absolutely.
The radical left has taken over Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. Don't let them take over America.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
President Trump built a great economy, and amidst a global pandemic, he's doing it again. The Great American Comeback. 3 months of record job growth, an incredible 9.3 million jobs added, devastated industries adding back hundreds of thousands of jobs, women and minorities going back to work in record numbers, unemployment dropping again. President Trump's renewing, restoring, rebuilding our economy, and the best is yet to come.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Kamala Harris ran for president by rushing to the radical left, embracing Bernie's plan for socialized medicine, calling for trillions in new taxes, attacking Joe Biden for racist policies. Voters rejected Harris. They smartly spotted a phony. But not Joe Biden. He's not that smart. Biden calls himself a transition candidate. He is handing over the reins to Kamala while they jointly embrace the radical left. Slow Joe and phony Kamala. Perfect together. Wrong for America.
For too long, Washington flourished, politicians prospered, the establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of our country. Their victories have not been your victories. Their triumphs have not been your triumphs. That all changes, starting right here and right now. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. It's going to be only America first. Buy American and hire American. No challenge can match the heart and fight and spirit of America. We will not fail. Our country will thrive and prosper again. We will reinforce old alliances and form new ones and unite the civilized world against radical Islamic terrorism, which we will eradicate completely from the face of the earth. We will be protected by the great men and women of our military and law enforcement. We will bring back our jobs. We will bring back our borders. We will bring back our wealth. And we will bring back our dreams. We will face challenges. We will confront hardships. But we will get the job done. Together, we will determine the course of America and the world for many, many years to come. This moment is your moment. It belongs to you.
You have reached the 911 police emergency line. Due to defunding of the police department, we're sorry, but no one is here to take your call. If you're calling to report a rape, please press 1. To report a murder, press 2. To report a home invasion, press 3. For all other crimes, leave your name and number, and someone will get back to you. Our estimated wait time is currently 5 days. Goodbye.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Biden says,
if you elect me, your taxes are going to be raised, not cut.
That means middle-class families, small businesses, and seniors pay higher taxes. It's the biggest tax increase in history.
Citizenship for 11 million undocumented folks.
That means 11 million illegal immigrants competing for American jobs, eligible for free health care, Social Security, and Medicare. America can't afford Joe Biden.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
What would Joe Biden's plan do for you?
Biden's plan is a 14% tax hike on middle-class families. 82% of Americans would pay more. And Biden's plan gives illegal immigrants amnesty and health care. Joe Biden's a career politician who spent decades raising taxes.
Come on, man.
So what would the Biden plan do for you? Raise your taxes. That's it.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Ever used a teleprompter during local interviews or to answer Q&A with supporters?
What will your administration do to help them give them that chance?
Let's move it up here. You know, there used to be a basic bargain.
Joe Biden possibly, reading his responses from a teleprompter.
Social distancing and wearing masks, which I never do when I walk outside of this house. I never fail to do. Now, one day, on day one.
Has Joe Biden ever used a teleprompter during local interviews or to answer Q&A?
He's trying to distract the American people.
Can you say yes or no?
Brett?
Yes or no? You can't answer the question.
You know, the rapidly rising I don't know.
Their force at peaceful protesters.
The vast majority of the protests have been peaceful.
And they're going and just pulling people off the street to make it seem like there are problems going on when all that's happening are peaceful protests.
On our peaceful protesters' ability to get out at night.
Most of these protests have been peaceful.
I applaud these protesters.
The majority of these protesters are peaceful. They have been peaceful for weeks.
It has continued, for the most part, peaceful.
It was peaceful. We had a number of peaceful protests.
He became president. I didn't go, and I'm still vice president.
And in addition to that, we have to make sure that we are in a position that we are. Think about it. Everybody has known from day one how smart, how bright Hillary is. Everybody knows how tough she is. You know, the rapidly rising I don't know.
So be successful. I sincerely hope some of you become millionaires and billionaires. I mean that. But engage.
You know, there's a during World War II, where Roosevelt came up with a thing that was totally different than he called it
Commander-in-Chief. It's more than just a job. Since taking office, President Donald Trump has rebuilt our military, repaired a broken VA, and eliminated Soleimani, al-Baghdadi, ISIS, the world's deadliest terrorists brought to justice. Today, America is safer and stronger than ever. Because to President Trump, it's more than just a job. It's a sworn duty to keep America safe.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.